Hi guys, Keith here from Happy Trails Personal Trail Groomers. This is late November, early December, 2022-2023. We're doing a little bit of a documentary about our company, Happy Trails Personal Trail Groomers. Going to go through, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, but it's going to really detail our product and show you the difference between other brands that are out there and what we offer. The difference in the quality, the structure, integrity, and everything about it. As you just seen at the start of the video, we showed you our fleet. Everything from the Sidewinder to the side-by-side that we got behind us, we use these all year, or all season. We do that. We're not just going out with one unit and pulling with one unit. What makes our company very different than a lot of them out there is we run our products all season. We groom. We got about 35 kilometers of trails that we do around here. We got a 200-acre farm that has a bush trail. So we really take them out and we beat them up, and we find those flaws that are within the unit that we can fix, change, make the adjustments so that you as a customer gets a better product. The ATV with tracks, we got units built for that. When you guys call us and say, hey, I got this unit, or I got this unit, what's the best one to pull with? We can give you those answers because this is what we use. Everything from an Argo with tracks. I have a ton of people call me and say, hey, we're thinking on putting an Argo into the fleet. Will it pull your groomer? We can not only tell you that answer of what best groomer to put behind an Argo, but we can tell you, hey, what are the challenges you're going to run into with that? And that's kind of unique as a company that builds these. We're not just a shop that fires out groomers and just hopes that they work. We have the products in order to test them. You see in the Sidewinder in the picture, we've actually pulled groomers, or 53-inch groomer with the Sidewinders. We've had several over the years. We use them for two reasons. We use them for tearing up our trails to see how solid we can get the trails. It's through certain swamps. We want to be able to see how that pack of our groomer packs that, and how it holds up to trail abuse of spinning and stuff. And we can give you those answers. Everything from our wiring kits, we need to be able to go, hey, here's a universal wiring kit that's going to work between say a Yamaha four-wheeler and a Can-Am four-wheeler. So when you order our wiring kits, yes, some lengths are going to be a little bit longer based on your model, but we know they're going to work. Because we've had that feedback over the years. We used to make our one universal wiring kit, and what we found over the years, we had one client call us and say, hey, we had to extend this section of the harness because it went in a four-seater side-by-side and it wasn't long enough. So now when you order a side-by-side harness, it doesn't matter if it's two-seater or four-seater, it's going to work. We do offer extensions, but we've incorporated that in so that there's no guesswork whether it's going to work or not. That's something that we do and that we've developed over the years. We didn't just start this a year ago and hope that everything works. We looked. It was going on 8 years ago. We looked to buy a groomer to do our 35 kilometers of trails, and what we found very flimsy ones. We found a ton of them out of the US, which was just crazy shipping to get here. We found bolt together ones, and we decided to build our own. we've built many, and there has been tons of changes. Before we even went to production with it to sell them, we likely built 9 demo units that we literally went out and beat up. Different size of angles for the cutters, different size of tubings, different angles in the pans, different heights of the cutters. We've done that testing. So if you're considering buying your own, or building your own, there's a lot that goes into it, and we've been there, done that, and we get clients every year that have said that, hey, I built my own, and I'm tired of it not working. I'm tired of it being too heavy, and every time I hit something, it breaks. We've done that testing, and we've logged I don't know how many kilometers of trails. We just had a message the other day on Facebook that one of our clients, he's logged almost 2,300 kilometers on his personal trail groomer on his own property, and he just loves it, and he's still using the same one. So those little changes that we make throughout the year, we're there now. This was years ago. We've kept making the little changes. So I'm going to go through some of those changes that we can show you. So you take our tongues for instance. This is our original tongue. Had one adjuster on it, and as you can see, it's bent here. I'm showing you a bent unit because this was likely 5-6 years ago. We got this one back from a client. We made changes. This is our new tongue. This one's been out, like I said, 5-6 years now. We've added a piece here for strength for both this bend and this bend, and we haven't had any back since, and we've sold well over 1,000 of these tongues with our bigger groomers, and that solved that problem. If you have an earlier model groomer, you'll see you'll have 1 or even 2 sets of these adjusters. We now have 4 on it, because based on snow depth, if you get a foot of snow, you're going to want to get it up more. So we've moved this one back. Depending on the height of your ATV side by side, you might want to adjust it so it gets down a bit more and cuts. So with these, we now have 4 of these that go on every unit, and that gives you a lot of adjustment. I've seen a few out there that use chains to adjust. I can tell you a little story about that. We just did the Toronto Snowmobile show. A gentleman from New Brunswick, we were talking, and he's like, "Oh, do you got this on your groomer?" And I said to him, I said, "I know what groomer you're talking about." I said, "How do you like it?" He says, "I bought it." He says, "Basically it lasted 2 hours." He says, "It's twisted all to crap. The chain keeps coming off of it." And he kept looking at ours. He ended up buying it at the show, went home to New Brunswick. Last week he come back and he bought 2 more. He's like, "You know what, I use it. My neighbor wants one." He says, "This thing is awesome." 5 years ago, we sold one to Guy Heesh out of Breesford, New Brunswick. He had another unit that was a bolt-together unit. He looked at it at the Toronto Snowmobile show. He says, "I really like this." He says, "I'm going to go home. I'm going to sell my other one." He says, "I don't like it. It's too flimsy." It was a bolt-together unit. He says, "It just doesn't work that well because it's so flimsy." He went home. 2 weeks later, I get a call from him. He says, "Hey, I want one of your units. Send it to me." Send it to him. Guy, he sells about a half a dozen for me a year now. He owns a Yamaha dealership down there. He just loves it. He says, "This thing's awesome." We get a ton of feedback from him. If you notice some of our other pictures and videos we've done, we had a VK 540. We have had a VK Professional, which is the 1000cc 4-stroke. We'd done our testing. We ran it for a year so that we had firsthand experience on that. I talked to to Guy a few seasons ago, and he says, man, he says, you've got to try this VK540. He says, it's awesome. He says, the gearing's better, the clutching's better, everything. So last year we purchased a VK540 and we pulled all year with it. We have that firsthand experience of what's gonna work, what is best suited for different conditions. And I can give you that answer of how what VK540 works. Side by sides are the same. This year we got the CF Moto on tracks, full cab. We're going to be able to give you that 100% honest, true feedback, because we're going to pull all year with it. But anyways, back off topic, back to our changes. Sorry we got off topic. As you can see, this here one, if you come in, you'll see the difference in the color in these pipes. So this is our structural steel tubing. What we do now with all our groomers, parts, everything, is we media blast them. It allows our paint to adhere better to it. We've debated the powder coating over the year, and we've always been asked, hey, how come you don't powder coat it? We've done some testing on that. We've talked to the powder coaters, and because the units have flex and because they're going to be pounding off of trees and rocks, if you've ever had anything powder coated, you'll see that one chip turns into a big blister because it's such a solid. It'll pop off of the steel, and then water gets underneath it, and it ends up rusting underneath and holds that moisture, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you've ever tried to repaint powder coating, it doesn't work. It doesn't stick to it. So we do use a PPG industrial grade paint on it. We media blast it, super strong. It's our fix. We've done that testing. We know that it doesn't chip, and it will scratch, yes, like any paint will, but you can repaint it. You can go to your local hardware store, buy a fire engine red trim clad, and touch it up. You don't have to worry about not being able to paint it and having it go to pieces. If you look at this pipe, this is our structural steel tubing, 1/8 wall. Just to give you an idea of the difference, this is what a lot of guys are building their groomers out of. They're building it out of flat bars. You've seen them out there. The sides are flat bars, the cutters are flat bars. That's what a flat bar does. As it goes down the trail, every little bump you hit, it does this. What happens, and the gentleman that from New Brunswick that just bought groomers, like I said, he said it basically lasted 2 hours. He hit it off stuff and it just twisted, and he says it's a mess. What happens with this, and I'm going to show you the difference between other people's groomers and ours. If you build it out of flat bar, I can take this. See how easy this bends? This is what you get, okay? So if it swings, and they'll swing and they'll hit a tree. If it hits a tree here, this is what it gets. This is what you get with ours. You can take a hammer, that's a 2-pound sledge, and beating on it with a 2-pound sledge, and these are strong. Weight wise, yes, they're a little bit heavier, but they're not to the point where they're too heavy. We've done that testing with heavier stuff, and you don't gain anything by building a heavier unit. If you take a look at, let's go over to this drag. This is an old Bombi drag that came with this unit. It's all square tubing. You can see they've fixed it up in places. It's broke, it's twisted. The way the way piping works versus square tubing, it's when you weld it. So if you take square tube and you weld it against something, you can break it off like this because you're just pulling that weld. I'm going to show you here. This is what we do with all our joints. All our joints are coped. So as you can see, that fit. So now you actually have to stretch the way that if it was to break, it pulls. It has to stretch that weld. Completely different than the square tubing that's butted against it, because now you got leverage to break it. This is why they build roll cages out of round tubing, not square, because they're just so much stronger. So that's how ours are built. Ours are built super strong. They're still fairly light, but they're not built out of those flimsy stuff. Some other changes we've done over the years. This is our regular tongue. As you can see, this is square. What happens, and what we found, and it took us years to do it, to find that out. When you put, this is what's going to be on the back of your sled. When it turns, depending on the length of this, which some sleds have different lengths, it ends up binding in the corners, right there. We've changed it, and now we radius it. So what happens now is it gives it more clearance. It's a flatter, smoother turn, and it's going to let your snowmobile tongue last a lot longer. We used to build these D-rings. This used to be our D-ring hitch. What we've done is we've developed an adapter that fits on our regular hitch. Goes in here, bolted on. Now you can go from, if you got a couple sleds, you can go from our regular hitch, throw this on, takes 2 seconds to throw it on, and then you can put it on your pintle style, which if you take a look at, like heavy duty trailers, they'll have that pintle style. Some of the Bombardier and Titans, they'll have that style of hitch. This bolts onto it. This is our hitch adapter. So your bolt or your ball goes through this hole, holds this in place. Now you can run our regular hitch. You can run, this is what we call our regular hitch, which is this one. You can run that on your ATV and your snowmobile without having to replace the whole tongue. So little things like that we've developed that works good. This here is what you're going to get if you ship it, or when we ship it to you. You're going to get a bolt kit. You're going to get this box, and inside this box you're going to get your adjuster. This adjusts your height. So this is heavy duty. This isn't a cheap little piece of whatever that's adjusting your height. If you take a look at the threads in it, we went this style because over the years when we first started, we used to use a turnbuckle style. They were all fine thread. They would freeze up. With this here, because there's actual play in it and they're designed to be used outside in the winter on tractor trailers, they don't freeze up. And if you do get water in it and it just feels frozen, you can give it a little kick and it's going to free up. We've done that, and we've realized that they work really well. All your bolts are all going to be packaged nice and neat like this with all your washers. And then you're going to get a set of guide plates. So another change we've done over the years, we used to have a 5-inch guide plate. these guide plates, we'll go over this unit over here. These guide plates sit right here and keep the unit from sliding side to side. As you can see, you get about 1.5 inches of this. What we found is when the unit gets tilted up, like so, when you're going out packing, you only have a little bit at the back and the unit will slide. So we've made that change, and now you get a 6-inch plate, which gives you about 2.5 inches below, and the unit does not slide anywhere. Just little changes that make a big difference. This is our wheel kit. We used to offer a wheel kit that comes off of the back of it. If you look at some of our older videos, you'll see two handles. Some of the videos that are on YouTube, you'll see with them. What we found with those is when you add these here accessories, when you add the corduroys and the track setter, the wheels off the back, they don't work. They're too, you have to make a really small corduroy. So with our wheel kit that drops down in the front, now you can add these to it. And one unique thing about our product is whether you bought a groomer 6 years ago or you bought it last week, if you buy a basic groomer, which is, if you look on the bottom, so say you buy any of these, which is our basic model, and 3, 4, 5 years down the road you say, hey, you know, I want a wheel kit for it. We can ship you that wheel kit, and it's going to fit on your groomer. If you say, hey, I want a track setter and corduroy, the wife and I decided we want to start doing cross-country skiing, we ship it to you. There's certain things that we have never changed and we've done since day one that will allow every product every accessory that we buy to fit on every groomer. And that's something that you don't see on other brands that are out there. Like our wheel kit. There's certain ones out there, and there's quite a few other brands. They'll use the small, little, tiny wheels. We've been there, done that. 3 years ago, we stopped selling them. It took a couple years for them to start to wear out. The bearings went in them, and the tires, they'd start to crack, and then the tires would go for a crap. We don't want to sell a product that the customer's not happy with, whether it's a year down the road or 3 years down the road. We want to sell something that they're going to be able to use and it's going to last. So on our wheel kit, this is our wheel kits now. We use a trailer hub and DOT tires. Yes, we had to increase our price, but the increase in price over our old model is very minimal compared to the difference in quality you're getting. These here flip down in the front and lock in. We can hook this up to an ATV side by side, go down the road. It doesn't matter if we're going for 1 kilometer or we're going for 50 kilometers. Us as a builder, us as a company, I don't have to worry about somebody calling and saying, hey, you know, I went 2 kilometers down the road. Yeah, I didn't take the snow off the pan, and I blew the bearings out. This here, I know that when we sell it, they go and people are happy with it. So that's our wheel kit that we've developed over the years. If you go over to our track setter, you'll see if you're on our website, you'll see that there's what we call a track setter maintainer. I don't know if I got one right there. Our old units, this here, used to taper from the front up to the back. And it never had a point like this. So if you're into cross-country skiing, you will find that it doesn't matter what brand you have. It really doesn't. And you just have to search the forums and listen and read the comments. People want to be able to set in hard snow. They want to be able to do it in soft snow and in hard snow. Our other model that tapered down in the front would work great in softer snow. Set a great track. People were happy with it until late season, and then they end up going, hey, you know, I want to be able to set a track in really hard stuff. Can we do it? Or they message and say, hey, I can't do it. Can you build me something that will work? So we've done that, and this is when I say that we have our fleet of side-by-sides and Argos. We had a gentleman that wanted a Scarifier prior to getting to the pan in order to cut that hard snow. We built one, and actually I'm going to post that video on YouTube as well. Pulling one of our groomers with a Scarifier in hard snow, we could stop our Argo in its tracks, and our Argo would sit there and spin and not even be able to pull it. So just because people think it's a good idea that, hey, we need to get a Scarifier before this, doesn't mean it's going to work. And we can give you that firsthand experience that we know it's not going to work. A couple of the other brands that are out there, they have teeth all the way across that are designed to cut in, and loosen it up prior to getting to here. If you read through the forums, you'll see that people that have them, when it gets hard, they can't pull them. So what we did is, this is steel. If you look at a majority of the ones out there, they're plastic with a little tiny cutter on the front. There is not enough weight, there is not enough strength. Their runs are plastic. When you pull it in hard snow, you're gonna destroy it. And our local club has one, and we've done that. We've actually purchased them, tried them, and seen how they work. And with ours, this new design, and it's taken us years to do it, the cutter is built right into the track setter. And yes, you can cut in hard stuff. You put enough weight on this pan to hold it down, and it will cut into hard snow. But what that also does, it makes it very easy to pull in the hard snow. The Scarifiers can't pull them. It's just like putting the brakes on. So with that, we've also added a swivel bar onto the back, which allows our track setter to float. Little changes, but they make a world of difference. So this is our newest 2023 model. Our corduroys. We've had cross-country ski people down the road in the past that say, hey, you know, those nice fancy little plastic ones do a perfect little V on it. Do you sell them? And we've purchased them, we've tried them, we've done our research on the feedback on them, and when I say I want to build something that you're going to get and not have to fix and not have to keep buying parts to repair it, this is one of them. These are all 3/4 solid steel. The extra weight of this, plus the ability to actually cut through that harder snow, you can get a good corduroy finish with this that is going to last. The plastic ones, we can get you them. We're not going to, because you're going to get a season out of it, and then you're going to be spending $300-400 replacing that every year. Snow, rocks, everything just destroys them. So this is why we went with the steel in this. Very durable, very strong. Another thing that we've done with this, these are now removable. They're set at, I believe, a 9 or 9.5 inch center. Some people request, hey, can you make them a little bit wider? Can you make them a little bit narrower? The way we've designed these now, if you come over to our pan, we've given you the standard holes, but if you decide that you do want them wider, you can just drill two more holes and you can move them. It's a nice little option. Some people want it. A majority of people don't care. It's that standard width. The width that we use on it is Olympic width. When we first started building them, we got all our measurements from Team Canada of what they wanted. One of the athletes, that's how we started building the track setters. Is they contacted us and wanted to buy a Canadian one, so we built it for them. Another thing that we've done over the years, our shipping. So when we ship this unit, if you are on our website, you'll see our fully crated option. We're in this to make it affordable for all the customers. We do offer that option that we can, I can build a box around this so that nothing hits it, nothing touches anything. We've added that to our website because a few years back, we were having issues with one of our shipping companies, and we were getting complaints on them being completely scratched up when they got there. And it wasn't until we accidentally sent one all the way out west to the wrong place and we got it back that we looked at it when we got it back and went, oh my God. I was upset as an owner that my customers were receiving these units looking like this. It wasn't our fault. It was our shipping company's fault. They were just mishandling them, but at the end of the day, it's still our product. So what we do now, you don't need to go with that full box crate. It's going to add an enormous amount of money that you're just going to tear it apart and throw it in the garbage. What we actually found a supplier that offers a 2-inch wire loom. We put this on all our units, so in shipping, if they're banging it off stuff, it doesn't scratch the paint. It's a plastic. All our points where it will rub in shipping, we've added those. This bar on the back, every time they pick it up with a forklift, they were hitting this, and then customers would get it and all the paint would be off. So we put a piece there. That's a cost that we are encumbering. We're not, if you look at our pricing over the years, it really hasn't changed much since the start. Little things like this, we're taking that out of our pocket to make it a better product for the customer. We go over to this is our club unit. This is our 7212 club. This actuator that we have here, it's an overkill. We want to sell great products to people that we don't have to have them come back. This is, I think it's IC65 waterproofing, they call it. So it's pretty good standards, fully submersible. It's rated for 2,000 pounds. We've sold well over 500 of these units. We've only ever had one come back, and it's because the client was moving it around. He cracked the case and got water in it. So some people shy away from that, putting the electric on it, because they're like, oh, back in history, back in the 80s, everybody used to put electric actuators on, and they always froze and left you stranded. These here, they're awesome. I got one, the one I've been using on my unit, I've been using for 7 years now. It stays outside all year round, and it still works every time I go to use it. So they're a great product. They do end up being a little bit more expensive than other ones, but you're getting what you paid for. It's like our units. You are getting what you pay for. We're not building out of flimsy stuff and saying, oh, you know, we're going to sell it for $200 less, but we're going to give you a flimsy unit. We're not doing that. These are our units. They're built strong. They're built to last. What else do we got? Different units. So another thing that we've done, when we get requests, or over the years, some people said, hey, you know, I got this really long flat trail, so can you build me one a little bit longer? This is where our 7212 comes into play. It's got 2 rows of cutters. It's 12 feet long. Gives you a bit more longer flat. So like lakes and stuff, it'll give you a long. It takes that long wave out of it. Where with the shorter units, in small trails, it doesn't matter because you don't get that wave. It will actually cut the moguls out and give you a very flat trail. In the cross-country world, with our track setters, like other brands that sell track setters, they're in around this length. They're very short, where if you go with our regular model with our track setter, you get that extra length. The difference in that, the shorter units, if you look at pictures or talk to people that have them, you'll get that wave in it. There is no way of cutting that wave, and what happens is that wave is what we in the snowmobile industry call moguls. They're like this. When you're cross-country skiing, it's not like you're flying down the trail at 100 kilometers an hour where it's really bumpy, but you do get this. With these, with our units, is it cuts that out in your trail, so you get a flat, nice trail, cuts the moguls out. You don't get that wave that over the winter you get more and more, and before you know it, your trail, you can't do anything with it. Like this video, there's no editing. When we do our pictures, we do our videos, we show you how it is. We're not going out in that perfect snowfall, taking that perfect picture in fresh snow. Anybody can do that. You can set a perfect track in fresh snow with pretty much anything. With a 2x4 you can. But the reality is that lasts for one day. Winter's long, so when we build a product, we want that to work throughout the year. That's why we've done those changes, and that's why our units are long as a cross-country ski unit versus a short one. We could do a short one, makes it cheaper on shipping, makes it easier to store. It just doesn't do it doesn't do what it needs to do in order to make you a great trail all year. Back off topic again, of course. So this is our 7212. Behind it is our 7296. That's our 8 foot long, 6 feet wide, 72 inches wide. That's our club model as well. Come over here. So this unit, this stack of here, they're all going to Sudbury. We have a dealer in Sudbury that wants to sell a ton for us, so he's purchased all these. If you are in an area, a remote area, and you want to become a dealer, get a hold of us. We can possibly make that work for you. When we design these, there's certain little changes we've done as well in our design so that we can stack them and ship 4 or 5 at a time in one skid. Come over here. we offer a 53-inch unit, a 63, and a 72-inch unit. Those widths, actually, if you look at the back of this one, this here will give you a good indication. So, this is our 72. There's two 63s and a 53 there. The reason we do them in those widths, 72-inch, gets you just outside the track width of a side-by-side with tracks on it. The 63 gets you just outside of the tracks on an ATV with tracks, and the 53 gets you just outside the ski width of a snowmobile. So we built those specific to those size. We also build them specific based on sheet sizing, the way we get our raw material in as well. Without doing a ton of waste, we've found that happy medium between that perfect width based on your tow vehicle and perfect width, so that we don't have to charge you an extra $200 or $300 because we're wasting material on our product that we get in to build them. So just stuff like that. That's how kind of our company works. And yeah, so that's pretty much how we've built our business. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call direct, email us, groomer@kingston.net, or check us out on our website, trailgroomers.com, which will link you to our happy trails. And thank you for watching it, and look forward to more videos. Thanks.